Butter is an excellent fat source on the carnivore diet, but I'm not super into eating plain sticks of it. Instead, I like to make different flavors of butter bites, and in today's video, I'm going to show you 3 delicious variations. I like to keep these bites in my fridge in a little Tupperware container, and I probably eat 1 to 3 of them per day. It's a great way to up the fat on carnivore, and if you have a chocolate craving, it's a great way to take care of that too. In today's recipes, we are going to be using some butter, some ground beef, some bacon, and some Element electrolytes. So I'd like to take a moment to thank them for sponsoring today's video. Element is an electrolyte brand that has everything you need and nothing you don't, with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I like to use the raw unflavored Element first thing in the morning to help keep me hydrated, but in today's video, we're going to be using Element in a slightly different way. We are going to be using them to flavor our butter bites. So I've got the chocolate caramel, and then this is a special edition box they had over the winter that has chocolate mint, chocolate chai, and chocolate raspberry. This is no longer available, but they do sometimes have special edition boxes. Each packet of the chocolate caramel only has 1 gram of carbs, and you're only going to be using a tiny little bit on each of the bites, as you'll see here in a moment. So it's a great way to get that chocolate flavor if that's something that you're craving. Right now, Element is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So I recommend, if after watching this video you want to make some butter bites, go pick up a box of the chocolate caramel, and then you can get this sample pack, try out all their flavors, and see if you want to commit to more boxes. Head over to the link in the description. It's drinkelement.com/Jenny Mitich. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jenny Mitich, and get your free sample pack with any Element order today. Let's start by prepping the meat you're going to need for some of these bites. First off, let's make dehydrated ground beef. I've got 1 to 2 pounds of ground beef. Cook it through and drain the fat. Then lay out some paper towels onto a baking sheet and press out as much of the fat as possible. Then you're going to spread the crumbled beef onto the baking sheet without the paper towel, of course, and bake it for about 5 to 6 hours at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, every couple of hours, I pull it out of the oven and move it around a little bit just so that it's, evenly dehydrating. And at the end of baking, you're going to be left with these crunchy bits of dehydrated ground beef. Now, let's prep some bacon. I'm going to cook mine in a pan and make sure it's nice and crispy. You almost want this to be crumbly. Next up, we're going to make some browned butter. Now, I personally don't like the flavor of browned butter, but I want to show you how to make it. Take a brick of grass-fed butter and put it into your saute pan on low to medium heat. Let this melt down and continuously stir it. It's going to start to get a bit frothy, and you want that. Keep stirring until you start to get some little bits in the bottom of the pan, and the butter has turned a nice golden brown. Don't let it go much further than that point though, because if you do, it will taste burnt. I'm gonna let this cool for a little bit while we prep the silicone molds. Here is my collection of molds, and I've got the chocolate caramel Element along with this special edition box from the winter. Here's the dehydrated beef. You can store this in your fridge for weeks, along with our crumbled bacon, and I've got some more butter that I'm going to melt in this measuring cup. Now, when I'm making these for myself, I just use melted butter, not browned butter. Now I'm going to fill the molds halfway with the beef and bacon. For the browned butter, I spoon it into each mold. I'm ensuring that I get some of those brown bits into each of the molds. For the melted butter, I just pour it directly from the measuring cup into the mold. I like to fill the molds almost to the top with just a little bit of room. After I've filled all the molds, it's time for the Element. I'm making a bunch of different versions today. We've got some raspberry chocolate bacon, we've got some raspberry chocolate beef, chocolate caramel beef, chocolate caramel bacon, and then just some plain browned butter bites. Once you've filled all the molds, you're going to put the entire tray into your refrigerator for a couple of hours. You could also put this into a freezer if you wanted to do it faster. And that's it, folks. All right, we've got them all laid out. Let's taste them. So like I said, I'm not a big fan of browned butter, but I made sure I cooked it perfectly this time, just in case maybe I had messed up and burnt it. I don't know. So the brownness, the little crumbly bits in the bottom, you can see have kind of colored the bottom of this. They give it this kind of rich caramely flavor. And a lot of people really enjoy that. But for me, it's all right, Let's see, this one is a browned butter bite with bacon, I think. And that one has caramel, chocolate Element caramel. This one's really good. I really like the crispy bacon with the chocolate caramel element. And I could make that, like I could eat the browned butter one of this with the bacon and the chocolate element. Chocolate caramel element, I should say. This is the last of our browned butter bites. This one has ground beef in it, but I don't know what flavor I got yet. I think I got caramel again. The reason I like to put meat into these butter bites is it gives it a little crunch. So you kind of feel like you're eating a crunch bar. Hear that crunch? It just gives it a little kick. You do not have to add any kind of meat to your butter bites if you don't want to, but I really like that crunch. I feel like it makes it a bit more substantial, like I'm eating something other than butter. You know what I mean? Not that that's an issue, but for me, I like it that way. Ooh, what's this? This looks like another browned butter one. I can instantly tell it's not browned butter because it doesn't have that distinctive taste. So that one was just a plain melted butter with bacon with no, I can't taste any of the elements, so I don't think I put any on there. Wow, that was really, really good. Next up, in this mold right here, it's like a pink mold, so I always make these raspberries so I know what flavor they're going to be. So this is ground beef with the chocolate raspberry element that was in the limited edition box. And I put a lot of element on that one. It's so good. I think out of the 3 flavors of that special edition box, the chocolate raspberry, the chocolate mint, and the chocolate chai, I've used all 3 of them in my butter bites, and I honestly think the chocolate raspberry makes the best topping for the butter bites. All right, last but not least, we have bacon with regular melted butter and some element on it. It's really, really good. That one was a chocolate caramel element with bacon and melted butter, regular, just melted butter, not browned butter. These all turned out really, really good. I'm definitely going to be making the bacon ones more often. I usually just do the dehydrated ground beef, but man, bacon steps it up a notch. Let me know if you try any of these butter bite recipes, and let me know any of the modifications that you make at home. I love experimenting and trying out new things, especially suggestions from you guys, so let me know in the comments below. On the screen, I'm going to put a link to my ground beef recipe video, and over here, I'll put a link to another recipe video. And with that, I hope you enjoy these butter bites, and I'll see you in the next one.